And welcome into Dental Profits. I'm so excited today to have Miss Amber Day from Solution Reach. She is here to clear up the muddy water when it comes to all things patient communication. Stay with us. Hi, folks. I'm Sean Crabtree.
And I'm Cameron Bailey.
We don't want to change the way you do business.
We want to change the way you're thinking about your business.
We want you to have better results, happier clients, and make more money.
Let's get it started.
And welcome back. I am so excited today to have Miss Amber Day, Business Development Executive at Solution Reach, hygienist for a decade, right? And you've been in and around Solution Reach and practices now, even outside of hygiene, for the last several years. Welcome, Amber Day, Solution Reach.
Thank you. It's an honor to be on the podcast today and chat with you a little bit more about dental profits.
Listen,
the practices we work with.
I am really excited to have you here because, as you know, this show is all about our clients having, or anybody who's listening and watching, having happier clients themselves, better results, make more money, and enjoy the ride. Now, Solution Reach falls into just about every one of those categories. But before we jump into that, I mean, Amber, you, as I said before, were a hygienist for a decade. Before you even got into the business aspects of dentistry, right? So you've played both sides of the fence there, obviously. Before we jump in, okay, here's the way I look at this, and you and I were talking about this a moment ago. We've got listeners and viewers here who are across all spectrums of age groups and all spectrums of life cycle in terms of, their practice. And I think one of the challenges is, I think people look at Solution Reach as sort of one of the companies in the bucket when it comes to this whole sort of muddy thing called patient communications. But that's not the case, right? Give us here's what I'd love to know from you. What is it that makes Solution Reach unique? But more than that, if I'm listening to this and I'm a millennial, why should I care? Better than that, if I'm listening to this and I am a baby boomer, regardless of where I am in the life cycle of my practice, because there are some baby boomers out there who are, a couple of years into a solo practice or whatever, why should I care?
That's a great question. And I think you're right.
Not to put you on the spot there, but
muddy waters is really a great term because coming from the clinical aspect, it was a muddy waters to me, right? They all looked the same when it comes to patient communications. We need a solution for patient communications, but patient communications, there's been a solution for that, and dentistry has evolved so much. Solution Reach has been in business for 18 years, and so we've always had the foresight to see where dentistry is going and where we can help our practices. And luckily, our practices have been a good resource for us because they continuously give us feedback on what patients are asking for and what they want to see in their practices. But we've evolved to more of instead of a patient communications, we are really a patient relationship management platform. And our goal is to help you really send the right message to the right patient at the right time. And with all these different generations we're working with, we have baby boomers, we have millennials. Everybody wants to communicate in a different form, in a different way.
yeah.
And it would be really important now and going into the future to continue to customize the way that we communicate with patients, because not everybody's the same.
Right.
And we can't template a message to everybody. So it's really evolved from a patient communication to a really dynamic message where we want it to be personal to that patient, post-operative instructions based on whatever their appointment is. So I really think it's
pre and post-op instructions. Valuable. Right. When you say patient communication, because I think, and I probably, this is going to sound silly, but I think we should probably break it down because there are some people who are going to go, yeah, but what does that really mean? Like when you think of Solution Reach or even the term patient communications, give us an idea of all of the things that you just said. I mean, what are some examples? One of those was great. Pre and post-op instructions. So what you're really talking about there is, let's say you have a new patient scheduled. Let's say it's after the exam. There's been a diagnosis. We have them scheduled for some work. And then so you have the opportunity to connect with the patient through Solution Reach and lay out exactly not only what they should do in terms of, pre, but also in terms of what you get the opportunity to lay out the expectations, right? And do the same thing post.
Yeah, and there's two elements that go into play. We've always kind of just gave them the instructions, right? When they're there, we talk to them, of course. Patients just gone through surgery or whatever they went through, and they're ready to get the heck out of that dental chair, right?
Right.
So everything's going in one ear and out the other, and they're not really retaining it. And they call us an hour later. Oh, I don't remember how many antibiotics to take, or I don't remember how many times to rinse with this mouth rinse. And all of that is time consuming to our staff. But more importantly, it sucks for the patient to have to call back and get the information that we need. If I could just pull it up in my email, or I can pull it up in my text thread and refer back to it, it's always going to be there. And
Very
that's
cool.
how this millennial patient database is working in all facets of life. Whether it be, scheduling their appointment for their hair or scheduling the appointment for their kids' shots, they're doing things online and they want convenience. So
And I would say more and more, it's not even millennials. I mean, when you're talking about something like this, pre and post, my parents are both retired, and they get off on all that stuff. They really enjoy the fact that that stuff comes directly to their phone. And I mean, especially in a situation like that, pre and post care instructions. I mean, that's really, really cool. What else? What else when I think of this bucket called patient communications? What else are the specifics that Solution Reach does, and what's unique specifically to what Solution Reach does within that umbrella?
yeah, we have the most comprehensive recall system, but we also really want to make the experience not only great for the practice. Of course, it's a solution for the practice, but we really like to look at it from the patient's aspect, right? So how is it going to be from the patient's aspect from the moment that they come into that practice? We really manage every touch point from the beginning that they go online and schedule that appointment, to sending them the reminder, to sending them the post-operative and the review, to get the review, to recalling that next appointment, to
Awesome.
keeping in touch and engaging that patient throughout the time that they're in your practice. Instead of saying, hey, see you again in 6 months, sometimes it's good to be a friendly reminder and keep in touch with that patient, just like we would with our friends or our family members, right?
And the old saying goes, I mean, when it comes to patient touches, I mean, if you're not doing it, what is the latest? I think I heard like 27 times or something between personal visits. Then you're missing opportunity, right?
And it's really comes down to the customization of that. You, like you said earlier, what makes us unique. We could send a newsletter out to patients, and we can send that out to all of our patients, but how really effective is that, right? So we have something called smart groups in our platform, and the practice is able to create these smart groups and target patients based on procedure codes, diagnosis, appointment types, insurance. And that really is creative when you think of what you can utilize in our platform with those smart groups, whether it's referrals, right? Maybe you have a PPO plan that you love and you would like to get some more patients under that PPO plan. Why don't we ask them for coworker referrals, right? We can
Perfect.
create that smart group and do that. Patients who have edentulous spaces, maybe they might be interested in an implant. Those would be the patients we send targeted implant education to, not me, because I have all my teeth, right? So targeted and relevancy is really where we're going, and that's what sets us apart. We don't want to send an implant message to all of your patients. We want to sell it to the ones it's relevant to, get them educated, and then they're going to come to you and be interested.
Very cool. So with the smart groups, you can actually, I mean, you choose then the subject matter demographics, so to speak. I understand what you're saying, but you create that group. What are the unique ways that that people are utilizing Solution Reach in terms of getting creative with those touches inside the smart groups?
Yeah. There's been some really great ways. I see people do some things, even for pediatric offices, for example. They want to let the parents know when those permanent molars are coming in, right? It's ages 6 and age 12 is when those permanent molars come in. If I could just automatically send that mom something and let her
Right.
know, hey, your kid's got the permanent molars, you make sure you're scheduling the appointment to get the sealants put on. And it's not 6 months later that they got the sealant put on and there's already decay on the tooth.
Right.
So,
Right.
that's a great way that I seen that it was automated. Like I said, implants was a big one, and that's always a huge one for some of our practice. Every practice has a little niche and something that they want to focus on. Some doctors are really Invisalign focused or cosmetic focused. Some really want to do just those implant cases. So depending on what their goals are, you could think outside the box and create all kinds.
Do you have practices doing their own videos?
We do, yeah.
And they're connecting them through the Solution Reach.
Well, all you do is think about YouTube, right? If you create a video and you put it on YouTube, it's unlisted. You have the link now, right?
Right.
And it's now a linked video. And so that link can really be utilized anywhere. If you want to text that to a patient, I tell my practices, you should always have a welcome video. The doctor should have a welcome video that says, my name is Dr. Day, whatever it might be. And I went to school here. This is what I specialize in. I look forward to seeing you at your upcoming appointment. Something just like that they are already with open arms getting welcomed into the practice. And if that's sent to every new patient consult that front office books.
Yes. I mean, this is, I would submit that this is probably one of the most underutilized. And for those of you guys who are listening and you don't know what she's talking about when Amber's talking about unlisted or whatever, really what she's saying is you can create a video, put it on YouTube, it's housed on YouTube, and you just categorize it as unlisted so that nobody actually sees it unless you send the link specifically. And if you send the link specifically, they click on the link and it plays strictly for them. It's really cool. It's just a way to categorize it so that it's not public viewed. It's just listed as only the people that you send the link to. And again, we've got lots of guys. What's that?
It's easy to do too.
It's super easy to do. It is super easy to do. And listen, if you're listening to this,
marketing companies and camera crews and all of these complexities to doing little things like that. And with your cell phone in your office, in your front office, you could do that in 30 seconds and it could be so powerful for you.
There's a great company that I know you guys work with. It's called High Five Practice. There's a great company, and we can just put the link to the video that we did on that. Could we put that somewhere right here, Mr. Producer? That does exactly what you're talking. Super duper easy. You can create your own teleprompter, so to speak. You got people that are on the other side of that who are working you through it. Really, really super stuff. And we got some guys that have gotten creative with this. They've made their, they'll make their own happy birthday video and send it out to a group a smart group that has birthdays, right? And they make it fun, and they do some really cool stuff with it. You can make it whatever it is that you want, but Solution Reach, of course, is the platform to be able to throw that out there.
With birthday messages, it's automated. Since we integrate directly with the practice management software, we see when it's their birthday. It actually goes out at noon on the day of their birthday, not at midnight when the clock strikes that day, like most platforms. We figure most people are out with their friends or family members enjoying lunch. If you get a funny video from your doctor that's a happy birthday, half the time you're going to go, oh my gosh, check this out, guys, right? And it's just a great way to kind of start that conversation. But
that's a great idea at lunch. It goes out at lunch. That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we got some guys that are getting great. I've had a practice who created a Happy Groundhog Day video and threw it through Solution Reach. You can really take this thing to wherever you want to take it.
I mean, spend an hour or 2 hours with the staff. Think of your content for the next, 6 months or whatever. Create a couple of snapshots, put those campaigns in there, set it and forget it, and go on with your practice. That's the golden nugget, is to set aside the time because you see the importance in it. And one of the key takeaways that I always think of is YouTube is the #2 search engine. It is owned by Google. It is a search engine. If you want to learn how to open a can of tuna, people will go on YouTube. If you want to learn how to do a dental implant, you can go on YouTube. And so video engagement is huge. And if we can integrate this into dentistry with our patients, we're going to find that case acceptance is not only improved more, but also that we're going to retain them so much longer. Our patients will continue to come back to our practice because of the experience that we give them.
Very cool. Now, what about because you mentioned something else there. You guys have some unique things when it comes to the actual, and I don't know the terminology for this, but the seek and search kind of a thing within the database of the patients, right? You guys have some unique things going on where you can actually dive in and look for specific people, whether that's with you creating a smart group or not, right?
Yeah, I think what you're thinking is maybe specific patients that they want to target with a specific campaign or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So procedure codes, appointment types, those would be the most quintessential, right? Because then it really pulls in the target on what they're getting. For example, perio patients, they have a specific procedure code from debridements and root canals and or scaling and root planing root canals. So those procedure codes, we can educate them specifically on perio disease, right? And a lot of the big things is some practice might be a complete health oriented practice. And so maybe they don't even want to talk about perio health exactly. They also want to talk about general health because now we know that it's huge.
Right. It's all linked, right?
All linked. Yep,
Right.
absolutely. So depending on the practice, on their focus, it can be really customized those campaigns and automated to target those patients. Yes.
So what about things like access to care online? What are some things that you guys can do there?
Yes. This is my favorite subject, I have to say, in
Well, I'm
dentistry.
so glad I asked.
I think that
Let me
patients
get
are
you fired up on it.
I know I'm going to get fired up. Patients are more retail oriented. That's my big term. They are. We like experiences, right? We like the way that we can walk into the spa and it smells like eucalyptus. It's the little things that kind of create experience. And for medical field, one of the big things that is cumbersome is having to call that front desk sometimes and just make the appointment, right? If I'm at 7:30 at night, I have my glass of wine, I've got my shoes kicked up and my daughter's running around. I go, I need to make my husband's dental appointment. I need to make my daughter's dental appointment. Well, your practice is closed, so I can't do that right now. However, somebody down the street is going to have an online scheduling tool that I can go to. So you just lost not only one patient, but three new patients because you didn't have access to care, right? I wasn't able to schedule my appointment. Yeah, I could call and do it tomorrow, but I'm going to be working all day long. I'm probably going to forget. Let me do it while it's hot on my mind. So one of the big things that we have came out with in the last year is something called SR Schedule. And it's a live online scheduling tool that allows you to capture those patients that are looking to schedule online. But more importantly, you can also use it for your current patients. So this link can be utilized anywhere, whether it's on your website or your Facebook ads or a newsletter or your recall messages. Just think we all message our patients, you're overdue for your dental appointment and give us a call. Well, now I got to call you back. I'm not off of work till 6, so I'm not going to be able to call you, and we're going to play this whole circle of not being able to communicate. So there's lack of communication with probably people who are busy, and that would be your age range from anywhere from 25 to 60. Those people are busy. They don't want to talk on the phone in the day, and it's tough to get a hold of them. So that online scheduling piece can be huge for improving retention, improving the patient experience, because now you're offering something that not all the doctors in your area are offering, and that makes my experience better. But also new patient acquisition. It can be super powerful for new patient acquisition as well.
That's great. And so, one of the only thing I would really, if you're listening to this, the one thing you have to do when you're talking about a new patient, of course, the relationship is really important in qualifying the new patient. So that is a great tool. But if you're gonna schedule a patient, you can't not qualify them. We spend a lot of time on this channel talking about the value of being able to qualify the patient. So if you allow them access to the schedule, that's great. We need to go to the next step and actually get them on the phone and make the relationship and qualify them before we let them into the practice. Really good stuff.
A lot of times it's via text, right? Because that patient just did it online. So if they just made that appointment online, we do collect all their insurance information so the insurance can be verified before that appointment actually goes onto their calendar. So they can verify the insurance, and if everything's good to go, they can then immediately text message that patient from SR Conversations right from their desktop. So they're able to kind of communicate with that patient, but just think of demographic. If they're scheduling it online, they're going to be more apt to kind of text to communicate with you. So it's another way to kind of leverage that.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Of course, again, you want to make sure that you're getting them on the phone to be able to properly qualify them from that point. What are some of the other things that you guys do that are unique?
Oh man, there's so many different aspects to our platform, but I really think that what makes us unique is, like I said earlier, is you can think of all the bells and whistles, right? There's so many. This is a cool feature to have in my practice, or this is a cool benefit. There's bells and whistles are fun to have, but if we do not have foundation, then
Right.
those bells and whistles are going to crumble. And so for me, the foundation is really tools to be able to engage and build relationships with your patients
Yeah.
um, in all different demographics, whether they want the phone or not, in all different demographics, but also allow you to keep up with all of that's going on online, right? So online presence and review management is a big piece of um, practices today, and we're fighting for those reviews. And so we really want to not only help them engage with their patients, but we also want to help them improve their online reputation in the same manner.
Awesome. How does that work?
So we have a tool called SR Smart Reviews, and we've noticed that people are more apt to leave a review if it's done via text instead of via email. It used to be sent via email after that appointment, but not everybody checks email, right?
Right.
And what's one of the first thing a patient goes to when they're done with their dental appointment? They're going to check all their
Right.
text
Yep.
messages that they missed.
Totally
And so
true.
I'm a hygienist, so I know that we spend most of the time with the patients, not the doctor. If I just spent time with Mary for an hour, I could easily say, Mary, I would love to find more patients like you in my practice. Would you mind leaving me a review about your experience today? I'll send you a quick text message.
That's
Well,
great.
in my chair. Boom, done.
That is a great tool. That is awesome.
And it does have an auto authentication tool, so it will auto authenticate them into their Facebook or their Google account to leave that review for the practice.
That is very cool. And that is a great way to orchestrate it too. Just the way you said it, and then follow it right up with the text.
Yeah, and I've heard so many different ways how people do it. Some people like to get their team involved, right? If they have a hygiene department, they'll create a competition amongst the hygienists who
Sure.
can get the most reviews, right? But I really think us asking the patient before we send that review,
Yes.
just like you said, like kind of about the new patient acquisition piece, right? Qualify them. It's the same
Adequate.
thing. Let's let them know what's coming first. Let me ask her. She's not going to say no now, and she's not going to leave me a bad review now.
Exactly. Yeah, that's very good. And that's something that I think is often overlooked. The easier part is to do it after the fact. But if you set it up properly, your success rate is going to be times 10. There's no doubt about it. And I think, what you said, I mean, at the end of the day, you're really talking about the way you guys view it is engagement, and it's all about building relationships. I mean, I really like that, and I totally see that. When you talk about, I mean, this may be outside of just reviews. Are there any other creative ways in terms of reputation management that you guys
Yeah,
do
I
some
mean, there's
things?
multiple different ways that we can kind of, help the practice too. They can utilize all of our content, but we also have a wonderful survey system that can stream the patient feedback. So patients that are giving you feedback, which is always good for
Perfect.
morning huddles and teams, we can use a widget and automatically stream those on the website and on the Facebook page. So there's kind of constantly this, little drip going out to both, and it's automated and it streamlines that. They can also use our huge newsletter library for content on their social media. So I know sometimes they go, I don't even know what to post on social media. I don't know what I have, I want to find patients like this. They can utilize our content for social media as well, which always helps with SEO. And
Awesome. Now wait a minute. Let me go back just a second. I didn't know you guys had that content thing. That's pretty cool. But now going back to the other thing. So you're saying that if I get a great let's say testimonial from a patient, and I was quick enough to on the spot take a little vid, right? You're saying that I could through Solution Reach, that's like automatically going to the site. Is that
yeah, so it's through our survey system. So a lot of the doctors will have, and you can customize all the questions or the answers that you want, right? But it's really good to find out what's going on throughout the practice. We as clinicians are in the operatories all day. We don't know what the heck is going on up
right?
front, back. And so it's
Right.
great to get feedback from our patients just on simple things. Like, I'd love if you had coffee in the front. That would be so nice. Or simple things, the girl in the back was kind of rude today, or whatever it might be. It's good to get that feedback.
But it's also good to get the acknowledgments. Like, Amber was wonderful, and I so enjoyed getting my teeth cleaned by her, and she was so sweet.
But the great part about these surveys is they can filter out, right? Doctors don't want to get those 1 stars and stream them on their Facebook, right? They don't want to do that on Facebook or their website. They don't want to have those on there. So
in a lot of ways, you guys are getting in front of it.
3+ stars and stream those on their website and their Facebook.
So in a lot of ways, you're getting on front of
it. I want to clarify.
You guys are getting it before they go out, because you're asking for it, in other words. Then you're cultivating it, and so the thought process would be, if they did have something that they would have liked to have seen, then you're getting it before it goes out somewhere else.
Exactly.
Very cool.
And that's the survey system. So just
that's
to clarify,
important.
I know this gets confusing with offices a lot, is the difference between surveys and reviews. We talked about SR Smart reviews, and that's reviews for like Google and directly on the websites, right? Those primary websites. Surveys are a way for you to organically get feedback from patients and have that content to stream on your own website, but also to give you feedback on improving your practice. So they both need to be utilized incongruently to really get the most out of patient satisfaction.
Very cool. I'm learning a lot here. That is good stuff. I'm glad I asked that question. And I
really think it's important to clarify that too, because I think that that's a confusing part sometimes, right? If a doctor really wants to get those reviews on Google, then they need to go with SR Smart reviews, right? Because those are the primary sites. But if they really want to have continuous feedback from patients that they can stream on their website and on their Facebook, then the survey feature is great also. And they're both available to utilize in the platform.
Well, and I think it's very important because you do need both. I see a ton of value in putting yourself in a position to be the first one to cultivate that information versus allowing it to happen on its own. You get the ability to do something about it. You get the ability to control it. You get the ability to head it off at the pass, or resolve it, right? Depending on whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's the important part, right? Before they go on the primary site and leave you that bad review because they had a $10 copay and you didn't tell them they had a $10 copay. So it's generally the issue. If it comes up, then great. Let's handle the situation before they even go on those primary sites. And that survey system allows you to catch them before it even gets to that point.
That is awesome.
For multi-locations also, it can be hugely valuable. If you have multiple locations and you have different staffs working on all these locations, maybe one is getting far more revenue than the other. It's sometimes good to compare patient feedback in those surveys and understand where there might be weaknesses in certain locations.
And just to clarify, she's not saying that you necessarily have a weakness. It could be just a matter of setting expectations, right? So it could be a communication thing. And like you said with the $10 copay, that's a funny example, but that's true because it happens all the time, right? And that's just a matter of setting expectations. But having the knowledge to know that you need to do a better job of that is really, really important. And that's one of the things that you guys have the opportunity to do. Really awesome stuff. I got to tell you, I have learned so much. And I had interrupted you a moment ago. I think we were talking about baby boomers versus millennials and some of the other age groups. I'm learning that a lot of that is really starting to puddle into. They're all starting to be the same, right? I mean, a lot of the baby boomers they're all about the technology.
If you're retired and you're 65, 70 years old, you need a way to communicate with your grandkids. Your grandkids aren't calling you. So it's true. Everybody kind of is a little bit of a mixed pot now. And I think having all ways of allowing us to reach out to them is the best way to do it, and not pigeonholing them to only texting or only calling, right?
So Amber, before you leave us, you got to give us what is the new and upcoming super secret top line, never before spoken of thing that Solution Reach is about to come out with.
So we are.
There is a thing. I knew there was a thing.
There's always a thing.
There's always a thing, right?
And to be honest with you, that's why I've been with them for over 4 years now, is because there's always something new. Our engineers always have the foresight, and I absolutely love it. So I would say right now, what we do have coming up that's really exciting that our practices have been asking us for is a new screen pop feature, and that should be out in October. It might be September, tentative date, but it's going to be the ability for when a patient calls into the practice, the screen will pop up and display that patient's information that you need right from that phone call. So you don't have to go in there and pull up, their stuff in Dentrix or anything like that. So it's going to give you
Wow.
untreated care, when their last appointment was, their balance, and all of that.
No way. So it pops right in from the call.
Mm-hmm.
And that's called a screen pop feature. I didn't know what that was called.
Yeah, it's called Screen Pop, and it's been just in high demand. So our engineers have really been working in the background to perfect it, and we got a lot of practices really excited about it right now. So that's what's on the bend for us this fall.
Oh, that is exciting. And I know I'm not going to hold you to a time frame, but but it's kind of looking like fall.
Fall, yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
This year, so look for it. We did have a post on our website, so you can check out solutionreach.com and read a little bit more about the feature and what to expect on it. But it's definitely going to help with efficiency and knowing how to have that conversation with the patient right off
Oh
the
my
bat.
gosh.
Well, it's great when they call, and if I know it's their son's birthday, oh, it's Jim's birthday, tell him I said happy birthday, or whatever it might be.
No, that's a game changer. That is a game changer. And I'm just curious. So if I have Solution Reach already, and that's something that you guys come out with, is that going to be something that I'm automatically going to get, or do you know yet? Am I putting you on the spot with that, or?
Yeah, I don't quite know those details.
Okay. No, I understand.
Those details, but
I'm just happy you told us about it. Okay, I'm not going to pin you to the details.
You guys posted, so I'll come back here and keep you posted on the details of it.
Hey, that is awesome, and no kidding. I mean, there are people who are listening to this right now going, "Oh my gosh, that would be so cool if I could just pick up the phone and there it is on the screen."
And that to me is something that's like it saves time and efficiency. But we already have our fundamentals, right? So some people sign up for features just like that, right? They'll pay a software just to have the ability to do that.
Right.
And that's kind of considered to me a bell and whistle, right? It
Right.
can help us and we love it. But is it as essential as recall? No. But it's definitely something that all practices are looking at right now. And I think it's the hot topic for sure.
Very cool. Amber, this has been a heck of a lot of fun, and I have learned so much. You are with business development. You're a business development executive, and just for those who are now tuning in at the end of this thing, and they're going to start all over at the very beginning. You were a hygienist for 10 years before you even jumped into this, and now after 4 years on the business side, you're in the business development role at Solution Reach. So you've played both ends of the spectrum. What is the number one thing, before I let you go, what's the number one thing that you see is the big obstacle that Solution Reach solves? What is the big problem that Solution Reach solves all the time that your clients are so pumped about? Just the one thing off the top of your head without even thinking about it.
Building loyal relationships with patients so they can retain them over the long run for longevity.
And there you have it.
There you have it.
This has really been a blast. Thanks for popping the lid off of the screen pop feature there. That's going to be super cool. I'm really excited about that. And I appreciate you spending some time with us. Go out there and enjoy the beautiful Southern California weather.
I will. I'll try to get some work done. Thank you. It's been an honor chatting with you today.
It has really been great. And obviously, these guys have your contact information right under your face there. So A-Day at solutionreach.com, or check out solutionreach.com at the website. Amber, thanks so much. It's always a blast. Anytime we can have anybody on here who's telling us all sorts of ways that we can have happier clients, better results, make more money, and enjoy the ride. And you've given us lots today. Thanks so much. Have a good week.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.